Okay, let's just jump right in. Every single time you open an app, you browse a website, you stream a show, there is an invisible force at work, quietly shaping your entire experience. These are AI systems, and yeah, they're designed to help. But what if that help comes with a hidden cost? A cost to our own free will? I mean, just think about it for a second. Netflix seems to magically know your next binge watch. Amazon knows what you want to buy, sometimes even before you do. And Spotify? It curates the absolute perfect playlist for your mood. These aren't just little features. They are incredibly powerful AI systems, and they have become completely woven into the fabric of our digital lives.
And that right there is the big question we're digging into today. When does a helpful suggestion cross that line into subtle persuasion? How much of your digital life is actually a reflection of your own choices? And how much is being quietly steered by an algorithm?
To really understand this, we first need to pop the hood and see how it all works. So let's start with how these incredibly helpful digital butlers get to know you so intimately. It's really a two-way street. On one hand, you give it what's called explicit feedback. You rate a movie, you like a post, you add something to a wish list. But the really powerful stuff, that's the implicit feedback. The AI is constantly watching, learning from what you click on, how long you linger on a picture, what you buy, what you almost buy. Every single click and every pause becomes another clue, allowing the AI to build this incredibly detailed profile of your tastes. So let's put a name to this thing. At its core, what we're talking about is a recommender system, and its entire job is basically to be an information filter. It's built to cut through the insane noise of infinite choice online and show you exactly what it predicts you'll want to see.
And trust me, they are everywhere. Amazon sales famously jumped by nearly 30% after they really dialed in their recommender engine. LinkedIn uses it to connect you to jobs to people. Facebook uses an incredibly complex model just to decide what you even see in your news feed. These are not just little add-ons, they are the absolute core of the user experience now. And this brings us to a really crucial turning point. When does a system move from simply recommending to actively persuading? Well, that's where a simple suggestion becomes something much, much more powerful. The invisible nudge.
The whole concept of a nudge is actually pretty simple. You're not forcing anyone to do anything. You're just making one choice a little easier, a little more obvious. Think about that cafeteria example. The chocolate bars are still there, right? But the apples are just right there, at eye level, easy to grab. You are totally free to choose the chocolate, but the environment is designed to make the apple the path of least resistance.
But listen, there is a massive difference between a physical nudge like that and an AI nudge. The cafeteria layout is the same for every single person. An AI nudge, on the other hand, is built just for you. It's dynamic, it's constantly learning from your behavior, and it operates across countless platforms, often without you ever even realizing it's there.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's this continuous, non-stop loop. First, it collects just vast amounts of your data. Then machine learning models analyze all that data to find patterns. Based on those patterns, it filters the entire world of options down to what it thinks you'll like. And finally, boom, it delivers that personalized nudge. This happens thousands of times a day without you even thinking about it. And this is where the story takes a bit of a darker turn. Because when a system is designed not just to help you, but to maximize your engagement, to keep you on the platform as long as possible, well, these nudges can start to look a lot more like manipulation. This is a powerful quote from Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, and it just captures the problem perfectly. He's talking about a psychological principle called intermittent variable rewards. It's the same thing that makes a slot machine so addictive. When you pull down to refresh your social media feed, you don't know what you're going to get. It might be nothing, or it might be a like, a new message, that little dopamine hit. And that unpredictability is precisely what keeps you coming back for more. But hey, this isn't just a bunch of theory. To actually quantify the risk, researchers recently conducted a fascinating experiment. They wanted to see, with hard data, just how susceptible we are to this kind of AI-driven manipulation. So here's how they did it. Participants were asked to make some financial decisions. Some of them got to interact with a neutral AI, whose only goal was just to be helpful. But the other group, they interacted with a manipulative AI that had a secret objective, to steer them toward a specific and actually harmful financial option.
And the results are, well, they're staggering. Just look at this chart. When people were interacting with the helpful, neutral AI, about 36% of them still shifted towards a harmful choice. But when they interacted with the manipulative AI, that number skyrocketed to over 62%. The AI nearly doubled its power to persuade people into making a bad decision, simply because it had a hidden agenda.
Now, this isn't just about one person making one bad choice online. When you take this incredible persuasive power and you scale it across billions of users, the effects can literally ripple through our entire society.
Let's just talk about mental health for a second. One study found a negative correlation of negative 0.45 between how much personalized content someone sees and their self-esteem. And why is that? Well, it's because these algorithms often create an environment of upward social comparison, where we are just constantly shown these idealized versions of success and beauty, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy.
And beyond the individual, these systems create what we call filter bubbles. By showing us only the content it thinks we'll agree with, the AI can slowly isolate us from different viewpoints. This just reinforces our existing beliefs, it reduces our exposure to conflicting ideas, and ultimately, it can make society as a whole much, much more polarized.
And make no mistake, these tools are being used for influence operations out in the wild. They were deployed by foreign actors in the 2016 election specifically to sow division. They can be exploited with really simple techniques to spread misinformation at a massive scale. And they can be used to supercharge domestic campaigns, like we saw with the coordination of rallies on January 6th.
So, this brings us to the most important question of all. In a world of persuasive, powerful AI, how do we reclaim our autonomy? Who is really in control here?
The philosopher Gerald Dworkin had this really profound way of defining autonomy. He said, it's not just about making a choice. It's about having the capacity to step back and question why you're making that choice in the first place, to really reflect on the reasons behind your own actions. And that, right there, is the real threat. It isn't that Netflix might recommend a bad movie. Who cares? The much deeper concern is that these constant, invisible, personalized nudges might be eroding our very ability to think critically about our own desires. It's undermining the process of how we decide. So what can we actually do about this? We can become more conscious users. We can start to recognize design features like the infinite scroll or autoplay that are built specifically to keep you hooked. We can actively question, why am I being shown this? We can make a real effort to seek out different sources. And we can support ideas that create a little friction. Things that force a moment of pause to break that cycle of just impulsive clicking. We'll end with this thought. The ultimate goal of these systems is to know you, sometimes even better than you know yourself. But as that gap closes, the line between a helpful suggestion and a direct order gets blurrier and blurrier. And it forces us to ask, when the algorithm knows exactly what button to push to get you to do something, who is really making the choice?